Hey everybody. At the movies with Film Brown here. Really enjoy coming down here and spending some time with you. Kind of look forward to it. Let's see if I can get this hat to hang up here. Hey, I practiced on that. Work pays off. Look forward to coming down and be here with you guys. Down here in the vault, we kind of scour about, look for the best movies that we can give you. Now sometimes that's sort of a judgment call, if you know what I mean. But tonight's film, this one is a wonderful movie. Now by the title, you're going to say, Phil, you're really full of it. But I think you're going to find this one to be a lot of fun. It's called The Head. Yeah, not The Monkey's The Head. Now that's an interesting film too. This is a film by a guy named Victor Trivas. Now Victor Trivas was a Hungarian filmmaker, came into the German film tradition in the early 30s, and sort of was an artsy-fartsy type of guy. Okay, and well, decided he wanted to make a horror film. And this film, 1959, it's a German film, The Head, he wrote and directed. And he asked one of his best friends to come along and help him design the sets and the look of this film. That guy was Herman Warm. If you remember Herman Warm, he was the guy who did the set design on The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari in 1919. So if you find a lot of German expressionist feel and look to this film, that's why. Herman Warm. Now the plot of this story is sort of, even by 1959, sort of a little bit old hat. It's going back to that old Donovan's Brain story of a, well, this scientist, played by Michel Simon, who was one of the great actors of the 30s and 40s in France. He was in some Renoir films and some Jean Vigo films and so on. And he plays a scientist in this film who's got this serum called Serum Z, which he uses to keep body parts alive because he is experimenting with transplantations. And this other scientist kind of wanders off the street, it seems, and kind of hires on to work with these guys. And played by Horst Frank. Horst Frank was a guy who was in a lot of spaghetti westerns a little bit later. And he's got this heart condition, this Simone does, and he's going to have this surgery done where he's going to transplant his heart into a different body. Well, he doesn't make it. Well, that's not technically correct. He does make it, but this Horst Frank keeps his head alive. Yeah. Keeps his head alive. And the special effects for this film are really nice. I was really taken by this film and the look of this film. And you get this great shot of his head suspended on sort of this glass case with these electrodes coming down from below and so on. It's very nice looking. Okay. And this doctor, who continues on the experimentation in sort of his mad way. It's one of those mad scientist films. Kind of experiments around with this hunchback woman who, well, it involves a stripper. You know, films are looking up when it gets that going with it, you know. Stripper, hunchback, put those two together and you got some interesting angles going on. And the doctor's got some strange obsessions going on as well. The film itself not only harkens, as far as I'm concerned, to the Brain films like Donovan's Brain and The Brain That Wouldn't Die, all of those various, well, heads stuck on a platter type of films. But it also, the imagery of this film and the feel of this film reminds me of Franju's Eyes Without a Face, which is made around the same time period. That same magical sense of the mystery, of science and horror and poetry all joined together. This film has got a lot of poetic moments to it. It's not just a strict horror film. It's a film that really works at many different levels. I think you're really going to like The Head. Other titles for it, let's talk about some of the other titles. I was looking it up. Some of them called The Screaming Head. I'm glad they kind of changed that because he doesn't scream. And we've already seen The Screaming Skull, and we know that there was a lot of screaming skulls in that one, so why call it The Screaming Head? Another title for it was The Nude and Satan. Whoa, I kind of like that one. But The Head is what we've got it at. And nice music. Works really well for this thing. Kind of a combination of some strange atonal stuff and some percussive stuff. And as I was watching, my wife was sitting next to me, and she was taken by a lot of that sound as well, a lot of that music. Music's kind of spooky in certain places. Some of it is almost listenable. You know, when you come out of the movie tonight, I bet you're going to be whistling that song, okay, into your sleep tonight. The Head. Trivas didn't make a lot of films, but what he did make seems to be worthy of our consideration. I think you're really going to enjoy this film. 1959, The Head. Let's roll 'em, Smokey.